What's going on, guys? Balkan Architect here, and in today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to create these cool little simple diagrams using Revit. So these little diagrams are quite popular when it comes to either landscape or urban design, and they're also quite common on universities when it comes to presenting your projects. I thought, why not show how to do something like that in Revit? People usually use either AutoCAD or something like Illustrator or SketchUp, and I prefer to do everything inside of Revit because when you get the hang of it, it can be really easy, and when you get to a point where you need those advanced tools that only a software, a BIM software like Revit can offer, well, you already know how to use it. So that's what we're going to be creating into today's tutorial, those little cool diagrams. Okay, but before we get into that, if you're a beginner, I suggest you check out my course, Beginner to Intermediate in Revit course. It's available on my website, balkanarchitect.com, and you can find a link to it in the description. Also there, I have some intermediate and advanced courses as well for exploring each independent complex topic in Revit. Also, if you're interested in my Revit project files, check out my Patreon. That's going to be the second link in the description. Okay, so with that out of the way, without any further ado, let's get straight into Revit.
Okay, so let's get started by going here to models and then starting a new architectural template project. Click OK, and here we are. So the first thing that I like to do is set up the units. Now you can use the UN shortcut or go to the Manage tab, go to Project Units, and for the format, I'm just going to go with the centimeters, and then just click OK, OK again, and there we go. Okay, so for this particular project, I'm going to have two levels, and then basically this is just some part of a site plan or site design. So I'm just going to navigate to the south elevation here. As you can see, level 1 is at 0 and level 2 is at 400. So I'm just going to drop this down to 200, kind of make it in between. Maybe even 160 is enough for this demonstration. Now let's go back into level 1, and then I'm going to navigate to the Architecture tab and create a stair. So for the stair, for the design, I'm going to go with the monolithic stair because that's something that you would use on the outside. You're not going to use an assembled stair on the exterior, maybe some sort of a metal construction stair, but you're more likely to see a monolithic concrete stair, so let's go with that. Now, before I place this there, I like to make a small modification here to the run type, because usually they are set to a monolithic material, cast in place concrete, and I like to change that just because we're going to be creating this as a diagram, so I like to set all of my materials to default, and then we can easily control all the materials or the only material inside of the project. So just make sure to check that at default, click apply, OK, apply, OK again, and there we go. Now our base level is going to be at level 1 and the top level is going to be at level 2, so we just click once to start, make sure to extend it vertically, click twice, and there we go, we have our stair created. We can just hit finish, and there we go. Now we do have this railing, which I'm just going to get rid of because we don't really need the railing for the diagram, and also I'm just going to get rid of this up arrow, maybe just uncheck everything. Yeah, I think it looks a lot better without this up text. Okay, let's go into the 3D view, and this is what we have. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is just move over to level 2. There we go. Again, we have this down text, really annoying, so let's get rid of that. Okay, so here I'm going to go to the floor, and then I'm just going to create a rectangular floor, kind of like this. I think this should be more than enough. We can change it later on, maybe make it a bit smaller even, but for now let's just set it like this. And then for the floor type, I'm just going to change this to the generic 300mm type. Click finish, there we go, go into 3D view, and this is what we have. So for this demonstration, I'm going to be using a blend of architectural elements as well as model-in-place components, because when it comes to creating diagrams like this, I think that's the best approach. So what you want to do is here for this particular stair, I want to extend it in some sort of a seating on this side, some sort of a seating here. So what I'm going to do is just go to component, open up the drop menu, go to model in place, and then for the for the category. We can just name this stair as well, as it kind of continues on this stair. Stairs 1, that's okay. Let's now just go here to set work plane, and for the work plane you want to use the pick a plane option and then go with the face of this stair, just like that. Next you want to go to extrusion, and then you want to use pick lines, and then pick line like this, maybe like that. Let's see, like that, and then finally like this. Okay, so once we have all of these selected, let's select the bottom one. There we go, and select this one as well, and I think that should do it. Okay, now you switch to trim and extend, and then it's just a question of trim and extending this to corner like that. There we go, one more. Perfect. Okay, so once we have this, we can just hit finish, and then we can extend the stair. So as you can see, it kind of continues on that stair, just like this. I think it looks fairly good. Just like this. Okay, the top one might be a bit too high, so let's bring it down to there. There we go. Perfect. So you can just set it up like that for this seating area, and then you can extend it as long as you would like to. Next here, I would like to create some sort of an area where we have some planting. Now I'm just going to finish this model first and then move over to the top floor, go into level 2, and then in level 2 what I want to do is go into edit boundary and then extend this floor here, just like that, and I want to create some sort of a planting area, and then let's go to rectangle, give it an offset of something like 15 centimeters, go for this corner, hit the space key to flip that around, go to this corner. Perfect. Next you want to use the split element tool, split it here, use trim and extend to fix it the corner here, fix it the corner there, and then extend this to the same line. Perfect. There we go. So some sort of a planter will go here. So let's go back to our model in place element, go to edit in place, and then you want to kind of build upon this. So you want to go to create extrusion, set work plane, go with pick a plane, click OK, and then let's pick this plane here. And then what you want to do is use pick lines. So you pick this line, this line, this one, this one, this one, and like that. One of these. Perfect. And then again, trim and extend, and you just fix these up. So in this case, it's fairly straightforward, just like that. Finish it off. Perfect. Next, you want to switch this to the other side, just like that, and you want to copy this on this side as well. Now, a little trick that I like to use is to select this element, go here to the clipboard, go to copy, and then you paste it and you align it to the same place. So basically, it's going to duplicate this element. Once you do that, as you can see, only the second one is selected. So you stretch the second one up to this point, then resize it, and there we go. Now we have two of these. And finally, to finish this whole thing, go to create extrusion, and then let's just go from this corner, just like that. Make sure that this is 15. Perfect. Hit finish. Extend it to the other side, extend it here, and of course use join geometry wherever you can. So we can just go here to modify join, and you join this and that and this and that and this and this. Yeah, perfect. And also you can have something on top that's going to be representing the earth on top. So we can go to extrusion, go to set work plane, go with pick a plane again, and then pick this top side. And then there we can create some sort of a rectangle just on top, and of course it can be a bit shallower, just like that, and then hit finish. So there we go, we have some sort of a planter going on over here. So this looks fairly good so far. Next I want to add some sort of a wall here on the edge. So for that, let's go back into level 1, go to architecture, go to wall, and then let's choose the thicker one, the 300mm type, extend it like this, and then we can kind of attach it here to the side of the stair. Go back to the 3D view. As you can see, it goes way too high. So I'm just going to connect it to level 2 and give it an top offset of 100 centimeters, so it works sort of as a guardrail. And then you want to align it here with the back of this floor. So for that, I would go to modify, use the align tool, and then just like that. Perfect. Now here on the front, perhaps extend it just a little bit. Go into edit profile, and then you want to copy and go from this line up to this line, and then you want to use the pick lines tool and offset that by the value of 110 centimeters and just offset it up like this. Perfect. So you just trim and extend. So TR, trim and extend, fix it here, fix it there, delete this line, hit finish. Perfect. So we have some sort of a wall there. Maybe bring it in a little bit. Let's go into edit profile, maybe like that. Okay, so it looks fairly good right now. Moving on, I also want to add some sort of a ramp here, just a narrow little ramp. So let's see how much space do we have. So let's go here to measure. We have like 175, which is kind of narrow, but I guess you can add some sort of a small bicycle ramp or something like that over here. So what I'm going to do for that is just go to south elevation. Go here, and as you can see, we have level 1 and level 2. And then I would go to architecture, go to grids, oops, not grids, levels, and then add one level in between. Now you can call this one mid-level. There we go. Yes, let's rename it, and let's set it at 80 centimeters, meaning half. So once we have that level in the middle, let's go back into level 1, and then we can add perhaps a floor. So let's add a small floor at mid-level. So this is going to be kind of the mid side of that ramp, and let's make it 150 millimeters, and let's go like this. Attach it here. Now, if you can't align it, you can always use the align tool and then align it like that. And for the width, let's leave it at 120, maybe let's go with 120. Hit finish. Perfect. So now when we go into 3D, it looks like this. Now you want to go back into level 1, back to floor, back to rectangle, and then create a floor that looks like this. Is it going to allow us to align? No, it isn't. So let's go with align again, just like that. And for the distance, let's go with 500 centimeters. Perfect. And then you want to add a slope arrow to make this into a ramp. So you go from one side to the other with the slope arrow. You select the slope arrow, and here the level at tail is going to be level 1, and the level at head is going to be mid-level, and the offset is 0. Hit apply, finish. Go into the 3D view, and this is what we have. Looks pretty good for now. Okay, so now what you want to do is basically copy to the other side. So you can perhaps, let's try mirror with the pick axis tool. Perfect. Okay, so you want to select this again, select the arrow again. So the level at tail is going to be a level 2, and level of head is going to be mid-level. Hit finish. Haha, there we go. So that's what we get at the end. So let's go into edit boundary, go to level 2, maybe move this out just a little bit. Let's see, maybe 120. Perfect. And then let's add a couple of more lines like this and like that, and then use trim and extend to fix this up just like that. Hit finish. Nope, let's not attach this wall, and let's go back into 3D, and this is what we have. So it looks fairly good so far. And now something else that I would like to add is perhaps well, first we need the floor down. So let's go to floor, level 1, and then let's add a floor that kind of goes around this whole thing. Maybe like that. Let's go to level 2, perhaps align it with this. Perfect. So there we go, we have some sort of a floor here below. Now you don't want to leave this whole mess like this opened up, so what I like to do is just go to component, model in place, and then go to, or actually we can just select this one and then go to edit in place, and I like to fill this out. So you would use that by simply using extrusions and set work plane, and I'm just going to show you how that would go. So you go to set work plane, go with pick a plane, and then you select, for example, this front face. You use pick lines, you pick this line, this line, this line, so the whole bottom. There we go. And once we have this, again, just trim and extend, there, 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 and there. Hit finish, extend it to the other edge, which is here below. Perfect. So you then once we have this, we go back to create, back to extrusion, and again you go with this line now, this line, this line, this line here, and here. I think that is all. Yeah, this, oops, not that one, but this one here. Did I duplicate this one? No, I didn't. There we go. Okay. So once you have this, I know it does look a bit confusing, but as you do this over time, it will become a bit easier. So then you go to trim and extend, and you go from here to here, fix this up, fix this, oops, fix this up, this here, and this here, and I think that was all. And then you extend it to the other side, again. So here up to there, and here up to there, and there we go. And then we just need something that's going to cover this whole back part. So for that, what we need to do is something like go to create, go to set work plane and set it to level 1, click OK. And then you want to create an extrusion, like a rectangle, something like that. And then you can use align to align it to this face here. So let's see, this vertical face like that, and this back vertical face like that. And once you have that and you hit finish, you just extend it all the way up to the bottom of this floor. And there we go. So we can just now what I like to do before I finish this whole in place component is to set the visual style to realistic, and now everything will appear as gray. Now what I like to do is select all elements, go to material, and set the category to default, and then hit finish model. Now the next thing that I would like to do is here for the stair, go into edit type. Did we change the material? I thought we did. Anyways, let's change this to default. There we go. Apply, OK. Apply, OK. Perfect. So now once everything has been set to default, what you can do is just go here to manage, go to materials, search for default, and then change it both here for graphics to white and then for appearance to white. There we go. Hit apply. And now the whole thing is white. Now the next step is to maybe add a tree here. That would be cool. So I'm just going to go to level 2, go to masking and site components. Let's search for a smaller tree. Let's see, Japanese maple tree. That sounds cool. Let's see. Well, that looks fairly decent. So I really like the look now. So there we go, we have some sort of a tree. Next, I would select all of these levels and make sure to hide those elements. Perfect. And because we have a lot of these overlapping lines, now we can fix that up by joining geometry, or alternatively by going to modify and then using the align work tool to set these to invisible. But the best option, and what's going to give us the best end result, is going to be by going here to the visual styles, going to graphic display options, go to shadows, turn on both the cast shadows and show ambient shadows, hit apply, there we go, and then uncheck show edges. So this is going to look a lot better like this, but also go to lighting, make sure that the sun is set to the smallest setting, maybe a bit brighter than this, maybe 5. There we go. And then shadows, I like to turn them down to maybe 30. There we go. Ambient light, let's see. That might be a bit too much. So try to play around with it a little bit. There we go. I really like this look. Click OK. And now what I like to do finally, I like to create a new sheet, just like this. Right click, new sheet. And you're going to get this new sheet menu. I'm going to go with the A1 metric, and then I'm just going to place that 3D view on that sheet, just like this. And to finalize this whole effect, let's just get rid of this title. So go to no title. There we go. Perfect. And just to finalize this look, what I'm going to do is go to annotate. Go to detail lines, make sure that the thin lines is turned off, and for the line style, go with wide lines. And now you go here to the corner, just like that, and then you go all the way around adding these thick black outlines. And I think this is going to give you a really cool result. So here it's kind of hard to see where the edge is. So let's kind of eyeball that. And also around the tree, it might be, oops. So let's go to annotate, detail line. So around the tree, it might be a bit difficult to create something that looks good. So I like to freeball it a little bit. Now, of course, depending on what your style is, you might do it a bit differently, or you might not even go around there. So maybe the best option would be to, oops, not that. Let's see. Yeah, just like this. Just get rid of all of these lines, and then you would basically continue over like this. So, but if I can only find where this goes, I guess this was set to a bit too bright, but let's just go like that. Perfect. And then you want to just finish this whole thing off by going all the way around, going here, and then closing it off. And there you go. You have a perfect diagram for your presentation, for presentation purposes, for your site plan design or mobilier design, or whatever you're doing. I think this is a really cool diagram, or a really cool look. Of course, you can add some people there, some diagrams. You can, of course, go into Photoshop, add a lot more detail. Maybe you can add even some text. So, for example, what you can do is go here to floor plan, level 1, go to architecture, and then go to model text. It's going to open up a menu like this, so you can type in water front. There we go. Click OK. And then you can place that text here. And if we go into the 3D view, it's going to look like that. Maybe it's an odd choice for text. So let's make the depth 10. Much better. Go into edit type, maybe make it 80 centimeters, and maybe make it bold. Yeah, I think this is much better. And then also for the material, you can search for the material and use something like blue, because it's, well, water, if that makes sense. Let's try blue stone. Maybe it would look cool. I don't know. It does look interesting. So you can type in something like that and then go back to your view. So it would, oops, I guess I rotated that a little bit. So just make sure not to do that. So what you can do, if you move the view a little bit, you can go here and rewind that. So let's see, I did, okay. I guess it was here. Perfect. Let's now bring it back. There we go. And now it's all correct. So if you accidentally rotated the view, you can always go here to the to this navigation wheel, and you can rewind and then go back. And if you don't want to move it, you can always save the orientation and lock it. And let's just call this one a new view. There we go. And this is just going to make sure that you can't rotate the view around. As you can see, I cannot orbit that around no longer. But as you can see, this is what we get at the end. I think it looks really cool and it's really informative. And if you have some diagrams like this, they can represent your projects in a really good way. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this, well, a bit longer tutorial, but I think it was fun and informative. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.